I make $3,200 a month. That's my monthly income.
For someone to say, I make $3,200 a month, I moved to Ghana and I'm happy. So many of you have been asking how you can relocate to Ghana in particular or other parts of Africa. So what I'm doing is I'm talking to people who are either developers or they have successfully relocated to get you this information.
As soon as the plane lands, I just get this feeling of oneness, of this love, of this, it's like a big hug.
I'm going to move over to Africa and I'm just going to leave everything behind and I'm just going to go take my money and just go. Would you leave your US dollars behind?
You took something small and you appreciated it and you did something big with it. Once you leave the United States, it's almost like a weighted vest comes off of you.
This is a success story that I'm excited to bring to you. So many horror stories have been presented on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and Facebook, but we're here today with some good news to be able to show you that it can be done. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Maximum Impact with Jay Cameron, and I'm still here in Accra, Ghana, giving you the information that you need. So many of you have been asking how you can relocate to Ghana in particular or other parts of Africa. So what I'm doing is I'm talking to people who are either developers or they have successfully relocated to get you this information so you can determine what's the best course of action for you. So today I'm talking to Miss Chanda O'Neill as she gets ready to release her mixtape. No, I'm joking. How I made it over. No, I'm joking, y'all. But you know what? I'm here talking to Chanda O'Neill, and she is actually the first person who purchased from The Beyond Investments with Dre Taylor. We had our interview with him. We talked to him about his journey. But so often we hear the horror story. Someone got scammed. Someone moved back to the U.S. after moving to Africa, and now they're back home and why you don't need to come over.
Right.
Rarely do we hear the success stories of people who actually did it. And you did it.
I did it.
So I want to share your story with the world because it's something that we need to know, because when failure is oftentimes expected, and when I say failure, meaning someone got scammed or they had to return home because they didn't plan properly or the finances ran out or whatever. But you came here and succeeded. So let's do a little bit of replay and then we'll bring them up to the day. So first of all, how are you?
I'm great, thank you.
You're very, well, one, you're very welcome. I thank you. Now let's go do a little backstory on your, not so much on your life, but how you came to the point of deciding that you wanted to move to Ghana.
Okay, so I originally came here April of last year on a real estate investment tour that Dre hosted. And literally when we were here, there was nothing here but just bare land. So they were making the bricks on site, and I think they had to make like 50,000 bricks before they could even start. So it was like literally nothing here. But I've been following Dre on Facebook. We've never even met before, and we're from the same city. We're both from Kansas City, Missouri. And just seeing his vision, and during the tour, he took us, it wasn't just a fun party tour. He took us to the building commission's office. We met a surveying group. We talked to Americans who have been here 10, 15, 20 years. And they gave us the good, the bad, and the ugly. So he didn't try to sugarcoat it. He gave us the real. He showed us the land. We had fun on that tour. But for me, I'm not a party person. I love real estate. I love investing. So for me, it was a business trip. So I saw the vision. I love the view up here. It's just breathtaking. He brought us up here during the day, and then he brought us up here at night. And I was already sold. I was like, I got to do this. I want to be a part of this.
What was the first step in the process? Because
I feel like the first step, people really need to come here. Instead of just sending money blindly, you need to physically go to the place that you want to invest in and then see if you like the people, the culture, There are certain things you're not going to see in a YouTube video. There's certain things you're not going to see on Instagram. You need to have your feet on the ground. You need to talk to the people. You need to understand the culture as much as you can and just kind of get submerged in it before I would. I mean, that's what I did. Even though it was just one trip, I just knew. Before I even went home, I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this. I have to.
But why would you want to leave the U.S.? I mean, it has everything. It's the greatest place in the world. I mean, everybody is coming to America to, to claim everything. Everybody's leaving Africa and going to America. Why in the world would you want to come to West Africa of all places? How could you, sister?
How dare I?
I
The
dare you.
audacity.
Yeah.
But it's so weird because Africa was never really like I looked into learning Swahili so I could go to Kenya and Nigeria, some other places, but I never really, nothing ever happened. And following Dre on Facebook, I was like, okay, he's there, he's doing this. This is like a real place that I could go to. So I feel like for me, as soon as I landed on the plane, like as soon as the plane touches the tarmac, even now, I've been here 5 times this year. As soon as the plane lands, I just get this feeling of oneness, of this love, of this. It's like a big hug. Like like I get it every single time. It just doesn't wear off. So I feel like this is where I'm supposed to be.
Was there something in the U.S. that prompted you to
Oh,
say that it's time for me to go? Because that's where a lot of people are. I talk to
the
them on my tours too, and they say,
yeah.
"I'm ready to." I
It's
got,
everything. It's the taxation, the without representation, the violence, the senseless violence, and also I feel like in the U.S. There's only so much. Like you said earlier, there's a ceiling, there's a cap, and when you go somewhere where it's kind of untapped, you can create what you couldn't create at home because of all the roadblocks, because of all the red tape. I'm dealing with a situation right now in Kansas City with the building permits department, and they're just prolonging this process, and it's keeping me from expanding my business the way I want to. But in Ghana, I feel like there's less of that, and it's more streamlined. It sounds weird,
I
but
would say
I
that's
feel like
interesting.
I feel
Yeah.
like I personally I got this property with Dre, but then I also have bought some land of my on my own, and the process was smooth. Yeah, it
Interesting.
was smooth.
Very
Yeah,
interesting because
I
that's
didn't get
no.
scammed.
That's what.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it was so hard sending money here because I went to my even for Dre's project, I wired the money. Dre was like, I didn't get the money. I was like, well, I wired it, and then my bank was like, well, is this a legitimate
Oh yeah.
purchase?
Oh yeah.
Yes, we
Yeah.
filled out. I already filled out the paperwork. Well, do you know this person? Yes, I know this person. Well, it's in Africa. I know it's in Africa. So there's even just getting money over here. They try to hold that up because I feel like they know. I mean, if I'm wiring my own money, of course I know once it's gone, it's gone. I just need the bank to let it go so I can move forward. So I feel like there's always roadblocks and red tape and
And that's
just
on the U.S. side.
yeah, that's on the
Yeah.
US side. Yeah.
So now that you went through the process, you purchased some land, but you
Mhm.
also purchased with Dre.
Yes.
What was the process like working with him? Did he go ghost you once he got your money? Did he roll out? I got
Nah.
no, he didn't.
No, no.
Oh.
The process was smooth. He sent over a digital contract, just like kind of during COVID, if you were trying to buy any type of property in the US, they weren't meeting face to face. It was electronic. So I got my contract digital on DocuSign, did all that, wired the money. We set up our payment arrangements prior to that. So it was just like any other um, transaction.
So it was easy.
It was easy, but there's no escrow account, there's no PMI, there's no real estate fees, there's no realtor charges, none of that. So you save a lot more money, and there's no interest. It's an
Interesting.
interest-free loan.
And it's interesting because that's one of the questions so many will ask. What is the
Hmm.
price? Is it what are the terms?
Right.
Now, when I'm also thinking about the people who they're a bit naive with the process, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to move over to Africa, and I'm just going to leave everything behind, and I'm just going to go take my money and just go. Would you leave your U.S. dollars behind? When we come back, the conversation continues. But first, a special message from one of our sponsors. Maximum Impact Travel celebrates the rich history and culture of the African diaspora, connecting travelers to Africa, the Americas, the Caribbean, and Europe. Through carefully curated tours, they showcase the people, traditions, and hidden treasures of these regions, offering unforgettable journeys that honor the beauty and legacy of the African diaspora. Meaning, would you stop your income stream?
Oh no, 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 no. That's the beautiful thing about being here. You can keep your income stream from the U.S. Like some people are on Social Security or what is it when they retire?
Fixed income,
Yes,
basically.
they're on the fixed income. But let's say your fixed income is 3,200 a month. Multiply that times 16. That's the conversion rate right now. That gives you a totally different lifestyle than you could paying $2,500 a month rent at home and then barely being able to buy groceries. And then you can't get your prescriptions and all of that. It's too much. It's too much. So for people that are, I see my income, honestly, I make $3,200 a month. That's my monthly income. I'm not rich. I don't have a trust fund. Nobody's funding me. I found creative ways to make this happen because I want to leave a legacy for my family. So,
So you do this on $3,200 a month.
yes. Yeah. I told Dre, I was like, I don't even know how I do it. But I feel like if
Okay.
you know what you want and you cut back on all the frivolous stuff, you can make it happen. You can make it happen.
You just saved somebody's life.
I hope so.
Somebody in the U.S. is stressing because they
They
make
are.
$3,200 or
Yes.
$3,000 a month, and their rent or their mortgage or their bills or whatever it is
Hmm.
comes up to $2,500 a
Yeah.
month or more, and they're
Hmm.
saying to themselves, "I don't know what I'm going to do."
Right.
And then they see the inflation that's happening in the
Hmm.
U.S. The food inflation. Inflation is happening many
Yeah, the
places,
food is ridiculous.
and they're sitting there saying, "Okay, how am I going to eat? How am I going to survive? My utilities are going up."
Hmm.
And you have just provided them
Yeah.
with an answer.
And out.
And it's a real out because you're
Yeah.
doing it. We're sitting in your home right now.
We are.
That's the part that, again, results speak
Hmm.
louder than anything that we say.
Yeah.
But for someone to say, I make $3,200 a month, I moved to Ghana,
Hmm.
and I'm happy. Are you
Yeah.
happy? Well, let me ask you, are you
Now I
happy?
have not permanently moved here yet. I do have my Ghana card, but I'm here a lot.
Well, you
But
can
I
go
don't.
back and forth now with
I go
that.
back and forth.
But
I
that
go
flight
back and
isn't
forth.
cheap.
But the flight, it's all about strategy. It's all
Let's talk
about
about that.
strategy. Yes.
So what kind of little nuggets of strategy
A
can you
few
share with?
nuggets of
Yeah, just a few
strategy.
nuggets of strategy because I just discovered who I'm talking to right here, just like that.
Yes, I like to max out my possibilities. Like I used to work for a credit card company. I worked for Citibank. So I used to listen to people call. I used to answer calls. They would call in and say, "Oh, I have a problem with my card. I need to pay off my balance and it's like 30,000." I'm like, "How do you pay off a $30,000 balance every month and get miles and all this stuff?" I just didn't understand it because I was in a struggle mentality. I had three small kids, working, going to school, and people calling me with these big money problems. I'm like, I'm in the wrong business.
Right, that's dropping 30 G's every month, right?
Yes, easy every month. So, just finessing the credit cards. So I learned a lot working there
Okay,
and learning how to finesse your credit cards to where they pay you or you get miles is
okay. So the miles is one
the
finesse.
miles is the finesse.
Ah, got it.
But strategically planning your purchases. So if your billing cycle ends at a certain time, you want to cut off the spending on that card so then you have more than 30 days
before the
to
interest accrues,
yes,
so you catch it
yes,
before the next billing cycle, and then you
exactly,
pay it off.
exactly,
Aha.
yes.
Oh, let me
So
find
that's a
out.
little nugget, but also the miles, getting credit cards that have like a 125,000 bonus miles
Just for signing
just
up.
for signing up. That's a round trip ticket to Ghana.
Hmm.
I've paid. I did a ticket. It was 40,000 miles round trip on United. But when I applied for that card, the bonus was 50,000 bonus miles. So that's a free trip.
Just like that.
Yes. So I had my daughter apply for the. I sent her the referral, so I got a referral bonus, which was 20,000 miles. She got 50,000 for her card, and there's a criteria, you have to spend $1,000 within 90 days. Well, I told her to make her car payment. I
Right.
said, make your car payment, pay your insurance, use your card.
For everything,
Yes, for
pay it off.
everything you usually spend it on, but don't spend that money because it's in your account.
Right.
So then when the bill comes up, you pay it off in full.
And you have those points, and then sometimes you can double or triple the points
Oh
based on where you
yes.
spend.
Oh yeah.
And before you know it, you have a round trip ticket.
You do.
That's how you go back and forth to Ghana 5 times in a
Yes.
year.
Yeah. Yes.
You need,
Sometimes I pay, sometimes I don't.
you need to take a teacher class. You
I
need to
would
do.
love to.
You should do that.
I am.
You should create a course.
This is the base.
Yes, you should do that. I mean, because people don't know
People don't know.
how to do it,
Yeah.
and they are, in many cases, so untrusting.
Yes.
They don't know who to trust, but you're living the dream.
I've had friends that have asked me, like, Shonda, how are you doing this? And I tell them, and they're like, okay. And then I might send them a text message like, hey, this is 50,000 bonus miles for this United card. And they were like, oh, I'm not doing that. I'm like, okay. I'm not going to push how I do things on anyone else. But if you ask me, I'm an open book. I
Yeah.
don't mind giving information out, like my salary. Most people don't want to tell their salary, and it's not a lot. 3,200 is not a lot.
Well, you're doing more with 3,200 than some people are doing with 32,000 a month.
Yeah, it's all
So
about you got to manage it.
you manage it properly, you can expand and extend that money.
Mhm.
And then once you understand currency exchange and you understand how to navigate it, you take that
Yes.
3,200 times 16
Yes.
and understand, okay, I do this in USD, I do this in Ghanaian cedis, I make
Mhm.
this happen right here.
Right.
Wait a minute, that 3,200 USD is now the equivalent of maybe 6,000 USD because you
Right.
know what to do with it.
Exactly.
So strategy is so important.
Mhm.
And that's what people need
Yeah.
because they'll move over emotionally.
Yes.
I told someone today, I said, hey, leave the emotion. I know you're upset with the
Mhm.
US and what you're dealing with, but don't come to Ghana emotional
No.
because you're going, or if you're going to be emotional, channel that emotion into becoming knowledgeable. And they're like,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
I see where you're going to end up making a whole lot more than $3,200 a month just because of your knowledge
Yes.
and your success in being here.
Mhm.
So I can't wait to see the course.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
this is really inspiring. I talk to a lot of people and I have great conversations,
Mhm.
but not often am I inspired. And
Okay.
what you've done has inspired me because you've done it.
Yeah.
What do you say to the person who's fearful and sitting at home? They're hearing this right now. They're inspired, but
Mhm.
then that mental block is going to kick in. They're going to overthink it. They're going to say, that's her. I can't do it.
Shoot, I feel like if I can do it, like my story is something. Like I grew up in the projects. Like my mom was on drugs most of my life. So no one taught me about money. Nobody told me to save money. Nobody said, go to school and do your stuff and get good grades. Nobody told me that. I didn't have to do that. I could have just been out there doing whatever because I had the opportunity. But I looked around my environment, like with like drug dealers and the whole situation. Everybody knows the projects,
Yes.
that whole ecosystem. So I just knew that I didn't want to be a part of that. And I always had some type of little hustle. As a kid, I used to pick pecans we lived in Georgia.
Okay. When you said pecans in
Yeah,
Missouri, I was like, wait, yeah,
pecans.
pecans. There you go.
Pecans, yes. So we used to pick pecans and sell them to people on the streets. I mean, just little things like that. So I feel like my story's a little bit different because it's like I've been a hustler my whole life. So just making do with very little is how I've survived. So if I can do it, anybody can do it, honestly.
When you talk about the struggle,
Yeah.
because now I'm hearing another layer to this. As
Yeah.
how did you get to this point then, where you had hustles along the way,
Mhm.
but there's still something else in there where you were able to elevate in that when you found success? Because there are a lot of people hustling and they don't have success.
Mhm.
When did you start getting the success in that? And to be, of course, you being frugal
Mhm.
and financially responsible, but at the same time, there's something else in
Yeah.
there.
So there's a spiritual component.
Okay.
So I'm from Mississippi, and my grandmother always she even now she's 89, and she'll see me. I'm a massage therapist now. I have a massage business in Kansas City.
Okay.
So I'll call her if I go down there and see her. She's like, "Girl, are you still mashing on folks?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm still mashing on folks." And she said, "You know what?" She said, "God has blessed you so much because you took something small and you appreciated it and you did something big with it." She goes, "The little things," she goes, "I'll give you $10." And I would flip that. Like I would have been a great drug dealer. I would have been the best. But I don't want to destroy my community.
Yeah, we don't give
So
you no ideas, right?
yes, yes. So she says, "I'll give you $5 or $10," and I would flip it. I would go to the store, buy some like discounted candy or something, and then I would sell it and I would make double. So she said, "God blesses you because you take the little things and you appreciate it and you multiply it."
Mm.
So I feel like that, just that foundation has really helped me in everything that I do. Just taking the little things and appreciating it. Yeah.
Well, I hope this video touches every person it's supposed to touch.
Yeah, it will.
And I hope they reach out to you.
Okay.
And I hope by the time we do this, you have some resource available for them
Mm-hmm.
for a fee.
Uh-huh. For a nominal fee.
Yeah, and it don't have to be nominal. It could be
Yeah. Yeah, for
for
sure.
sure, because what you have is gold.
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes what'll happen is what you just shared is gold. Oftentimes what happens is people will devalue your journey.
Oh,
And they'll want you to
yes.
say, "Oh no, give it to me for free." Yeah, just give it. Some things you give away for free.
Yeah,
But what you have, you can change generations.
I would love that.
You could impact legacies
Mm-hmm.
because you were willing to do these different things. And that's why it's so important for people to see the possibilities
Yes.
abroad. But you still have your business
Yeah, I
in
do.
Kansas City.
I do. And I didn't really
You got long
understand.
arms though. You still doing massage. You got some long
I'll be reaching.
but you have a team, obviously.
Yes,
You
I
can't
do. I have a good team. I have a great team in place. I love my staff. They are my family. They don't work for me. We work together.
and you take care of them
I
clearly.
take
And
care
they
of them.
take
They
care of
make more
you.
money than I do.
There you go.
Yeah, I pay them more than I get, and they don't believe that. And I show them my little direct deposit. They're like, "What is that?"
But you have a freedom too to do what
Yeah,
you. So
I
the
do.
compensation. See, compensation
Yes,
comes in so many different forms.
it does.
Sometimes compensation is in peace and freedom.
Peace. The peace is something you cannot put a price tag on.
Let's talk about the peace a little bit. When you say peace, what does that mean to you here?
Peace here is even just walking out on the deck and just all you hear is birds and crickets and some little wild animal out there. I don't know what it's. I think it's a loon. I don't know. It makes some weird
As long as
sound.
it's not a lion.
It's not a lion.
Okay.
There's no wild
Okay.
animal, but it's something that makes some weird sound every night. But it's just I feel very grateful that I have this space. And it kind of dawned on me one time I flew in and I was very jet lagged. And I realized, like, I'm in Africa. Like, I can go outside and put my feet in the grass. And this is my property. I can bring my kids here. My family, my friends can come here. And it's something I never really thought about until that day it just hit me. Like, this is real. Like, and who am I to be able to do this? I'm not different. I don't think I'm different from anybody else, you know? So I feel like I'm very grateful to have this opportunity. and to be able to show my kids that Kansas City, the states, that's not the only thing. Like I want my daughter to travel, my sons to travel, and get out there and see the world because it's so much more to see, to experience. And once you leave the United States, it's almost like a weighted vest comes off of you, and you can like loosen up. You don't have to be so guarded.
And that's peace.
Yeah, that's peace for me.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I could tell you, I get surprised sometimes because we just met today,
Uh-huh.
and it was casual conversation. Hey, how you
Yeah.
doing? Hey, what's
Yeah.
going on? And Dre and I were talking,
Mm-hmm.
and we knew that you and I were going to talk, but we didn't sit down and have like, here's the formal questions.
No.
Here's what we're going to do. And when
Mm-hmm.
you sat down, you said, I'm nervous. I said, oh, don't worry about it. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
And you have knocked this thing out of the park. And
Thank
I'm
you.
sitting here, I'm the host, and I'm surprised. I'm sitting here like,
There's
wow.
layers.
Oh, I
Layers.
know it is.
Yeah.
I know it's layers.
Because like you said, people see the outcome, but they don't know the journey. They have no idea. Like here, there's times when we had some issues with the electrical. That doesn't bother me because I've had my lights turned off.
Mm.
So it doesn't, like, if you come here being bougie and you think everything's going to be perfect, don't.
Well, our people got that condition. They
Yes,
got
like you have to have
bougyitis.
grace. You have to have grace and patience.
Ooh,
Grace and
and
patience.
that's deliverance for some people.
Yeah.
So, so
Let's
they might need to come.
Yes, they really do. I feel like everybody needs to because once you experience, like, I didn't even know, like, I've stayed in different hotels here and there's like a little switch on the wall for the heater, for the water heater.
Oh
I
yes.
didn't know that. I was taking cold showers for a whole week until one of my U.S. friends, I was at her place and I was like, why is it so steamy? She goes, I just got the shower. I'm like, how do you have hot water? She said, that button on the wall. And I was like, are you serious? She was like, you just been taking, I was like, I thought,
That's what they did in Africa.
yeah, I'm in Africa. I need to get in line. So it's just those little things that we take for granted. Everybody doesn't have access to that consistently.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, as we get ready to wrap this up, what words of inspiration or encouragement do you have for the person who's just like you? Maybe they're making $2,000, or they might be making
Yeah.
$20,000. Who knows? They're in a place where they recognize it's time to do something different.
Yes. I feel like if you're at that space where you feel like it's time to do something different, the first thing you need to do is start cutting back on some of the things that we do in our lifestyle that are unnecessary. Like going out, alcohol is so expensive. Like one drink is $12. That's a lot. And if you do that every weekend and paying to get into a place, you got to get dressed up. I mean, maybe not like cut back on expenses. Like I don't get my nails done. I don't buy expensive hair
The
pieces.
bougie people are like passing out right now.
I just don't.
Yeah,
Because to me, I don't value that. And can you resell that wig? Maybe. I don't know. But who's buying it? So real estate is something that even when I die, my kids can live here, my grandkids, my great grandkids, or my kids can sell everything that I've built for them and do whatever. But we have to make priorities. What is your priority? That's it. So my takeaway would be spend less on dumb stuff. Like quit buying stupid stuff.
Yeah, that's breaking it down to
Yeah.
the essence of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
quit buying stupid stuff. I still do it. Amazon is dangerous.
Yeah, Amazon dangerous. It's dangerous.
Yeah.
I find myself I'm in Africa ordering
I
stuff on
know.
Amazon, waiting for it
Yes.
when I get back. I got my
I got
Amazon.
packages coming.
I still got
But-
my Prime account.
Yes, but it's like the priorities. Like what's important. If coming to Africa or getting out of the country is important, when you get your tax refund, act like you didn't get it. Put it in a savings account, put it in a mutual fund for 6 months or a CD and let that money grow. Instead of like, oh, I'm about to go do this. I'm about to go to Jamaica. Forget Jamaica right now. Like put it on pause and
Think about the bigger picture.
yes, the bigger picture. Yes.
All right, everybody. I have been surprised here in Accra, Ghana, talking to Chanda O'Neill in her home that was built by The Beyond Investments and Dre Taylor. And this is a success story that I'm excited to bring to you. So many horror stories have been presented on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. But we're here today with some good news to be able to show you that it can be done.
When we come back, the conversation continues. But first, a special message from one of our sponsors. Join Darren and Destiny, twin explorers, on an epic journey across the African diaspora. From Ghana to Tanzania, Ethiopia, Brazil, and beyond. Their adventures uncover the beauty, history, and culture of these countries, changing the way children see the world. Dive into the adventures of Darren and Destiny now.
Because guess what? If they're coming from Europe and Asia and Lebanon and everywhere else and building in Africa, so can we. But we don't have to be the ones to exploit. We can be the ones that can contribute to society in a positive way. We can learn from the culture, and it can be a relationship where the exchange is equal. And so that's why stories like this are so important, and we want you to know what is possible. So for that person that's overthinking out there, hey, it's no need to continue overthinking. Just take some of the lessons and nuggets that you've heard in these interviews and figure out where it works for you. So what I want you to do, subscribe, like, share, be on the lookout for Chanda O'Neill's course in how to go about moving to Ghana effectively on $3,200 a month.
Okay, another thing about making those sacrifices is also this is an investment property. So I didn't just buy this to say I have a place in Ghana. I want to be able to extend this invitation to other people to come and stay. So we just listed it on Airbnb.
Come on with it.
Yes, it's
It's
called My Happy Place of Bree. So you can find it on Airbnb. And then I'm going to put a link on my Instagram where people can hit the link from my IG account.
Sure.
That'll go directly to the Airbnb.
And give it to me, and I'll put it in the description below.
So
too.
on Instagram, it's just O'Neill Chanda, ONEALCHANDA.
O'Neill Chanda, y'all got that right. And so with this Airbnb, you'll have a chance to stay in here,
Yeah.
sit in these seats,
Yes.
and really
And
be
swim in the pool.
swim in the pool upstairs.
Yeah.
So we're going to get you'll see the shots and all of that
Yes.
good stuff. We want you to, that's going to offset the 30,
Yes,
now the
it does.
the $3,200 a month. Y'all better come on and start playing around. And then you can talk to her, in some form, whether she's here, and obviously she's not going to be here, but you can connect with her, and then you could stay here in Accra, Ghana, and that's how we make it a win-win.
Yes.
All right, so you can put your money down, you can get them points. Now you know someplace you can stay and
Yes.
have a great time. I'm excited for you.
Thank
Now you
you.
have the course and the Airbnb. That's how it goes down. That's how we do it.
Speak it into existence.
That's right.
I'm going to have a course.
Watch.
Okay. Somebody's going to have to come up. If there's anybody out there that can help me with this course, because I'm not a very organized person.
You're
I'm
organized
very
enough.
spontaneous.
Yeah, but there's an organization in there to do all of those points and coming on $3,200 a month. There's some organization in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but all of that's going to come together the way it's
Yes.
supposed to,
It will.
just like all of this did.
It will.
All
Yes,
right.
God is good.
Airbnb,
Airbnb.
but it's called My Happy Place Aburi, and it's
Yes.
ABURI.
Yes.
All right, that's how you spell it.
Yes.
It's coming. It's coming. Thank you so much. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
All right, everybody, subscribe, like, and share.